Hello students, in this video let us understand what are ideal and non-ideal solutions. Now ideal solutions are the one which are found to obey three characteristics. One is they obey Raoult's law for all range of concentration and temperature. Then the enthalpy change on mixing of the components is equal to 0 and the volume change on mixing of the component is also equal to 0. Let us understand it by taking a simple example of benzene and toluene. Now say for example the original interactions which are present within the benzene are represented as AA type and the intermolecular interactions present in the toluene are represented as BB type in the pure components. Okay. Now when these two components are mixed with each other to form a new solution, then let us say that the intermolecular interactions are represented as AB type. Okay. Now if your intermolecular interactions of the AB type are of same magnitude as that of the original components or as of the same magnitude or in terms of the intermolecular forces which were present in the original components, then we would say that it obeys Raoult's law. Okay, so on that concept we can say as per Raoult's law, PA is equal to PA0 into XA, PB is equal to PB0 into XB. So what is PA, PB here? These are the partial vapor pressures created within the solution. PA0 and PB0 are the vapor pressures of the pure components. XA and XB are the mole fraction of the pure components. Okay. Similarly, if you consider Dalton's law of partial pressure, then as per it, the total pressure created within the solution can be given as this: P is equal to PA plus PB. Okay. After that, we are saying delta H mix has to be equal to 0. That means there should be no change in heat of the solution after mixing both the components, right? Now is it possible in such case? Yes, definitely it is possible, since we are saying that the magnitude of the AB type of interactions in the created solution is of the same value as that of the pure components, because of which there is no heat gained or heat lost, right, during the formation of a solution, and as a result the enthalpy change on mixing is equal to 0. Okay. If we consider delta V mix is equal to 0, is it possible? Again we are taking a same example. So if I am taking 100 cubic centimeter of benzene and 100 cubic centimeter of toluene and I mix them, so I get a 200 cubic centimeter value in terms of its volume for a newly formed solution. And since the magnitude is same as that of the original one, simple 100 plus 100 is equal to 200, that means there is no change in volume on mixing of the components. That means it also obeys the third characteristic according to the ideal solutions. So I can say this example of benzene and toluene behaves as an ideal solution. We can get it more clarified with the help of a graphical representation. So let's move there. So according to Raoult's law, the partial vapor pressure of the pure components are as given: PA is equal to PA0 XA and PB is equal to PB0 XB. Now say for instance, initially I am taking component A. That means the concentration is completely due to component A. No component B is present. So I can say XA is equal to 1 and XB is equal to 0. Now gradually what I am doing, I am adding component B to it. What will happen as soon as I starting adding B to it, right? For that understanding, you need to understand what is the partial vapor pressure within the solution when there is perfectly XA is equal to 1. What will happen when XA is equal to 1? Just fill that XA is equal to 1 in this equation. So PA is equal to PA0 into XA, but XA is 1. So what will be your value for PA? PA will be equal to PA0, and that's what you can observe at this particular point. The point is PA is equal to PA0. Now what you are going to do next is you are adding component B to it. As you start adding component B to it, what will happen? The vapor pressure which is created due to component A will start on decreasing due to addition of B. Okay, so that vapor pressure due to this your component A will go on decreasing up to this particular point, which is this point where your XB is equal to 1. That means 100% component B is present and the concentration of component A has approached 0. And because of this, the partial vapor pressure created within the solution due to component A has also approached 0. Okay, similarly you can observe for component B. So initially when XB is equal to 1 and no component A is present, then PB will be equal to PB0. As soon as you start adding component A to it, the partial vapor pressure of PB will go on decreasing and it will reach 0 at this particular point where XB is equal to 0 and XA is in its pure form. Is it clear? Now we are left with one more curve on this graph, that is representing this particular line. P is equal to PA plus PB. This is the line where you can find out the vapor pressure of solutions of different compositions in case of ideal solutions, right, which are lying between the vapor pressure of pure components PA0 and PB0. Is it clear? And that also supports your Dalton's law of partial pressures, right? That's about ideal solutions. Now let us see what are non-ideal solutions. Non-ideal solutions are the one which do not obey any of the characteristics which we have seen initially. That means they do not obey Raoult's law. The change in enthalpy on mixing is not equal to 0. The change in volume on mixing is also not equal to 0. Okay. Now, depending on the deviation from the Raoult's law, in case of this non-ideal solution, we have two types of deviations possible. One is positive deviation and the other is negative deviation. Now let us see one by one. In terms of vapor pressure, so if you consider the vapor pressure, it has been observed that the vapor pressure in case of positive deviation is more than that of the predicted total vapor pressure as per the Raoult's law, right? And such cases will be said to show positive deviation. That means we are trying to say if it shows positive deviation, then PA should be greater than PA0XA, PB should be greater than PB0XP. Similarly, the total pressure should be greater than PA plus PB. On the other side, negative deviation, it says that the observed vapor pressure of each component, if it is less than the total vapor pressure as predicted by the Raoult's law, then we would say it shows a negative deviation. So if PA is less than this or PB is less than this PB0XP, similarly the total pressure is less than PA plus PB, then we would say it shows, that particular solution shows a negative deviation. Okay. Now let us try to understand it more deeply. Now the main reason for the deviation in case of non-ideal solutions is, in case of positive deviation, is due to the AB interactions being weaker, right? So in case of ideal solutions, we have seen that the newly formed solution having an intermolecular interaction of the type AB, it has the magnitude same as the original one. That means the magnitude which were present in AA and BB and the newly formed solution AB type, they all have the same magnitudes. We said such solutions are ideal ones. But in non-ideal solutions, what is happening? They are not the same. Okay. Now the first case, if the AB interactions are weaker, so this AB interactions, if they are weaker, which are formed in the solution, then what would happen? This bond can easily break, right? This bond can easily break. Bond can easily break, that means the escaping tendency of A and B types of molecules from the solution will be more than that of the pure liquids or than that of the pure components, right? What will happen as a result? Each component of solution will have more partial vapor pressure or greater partial vapor pressure than expected on the basis of Raoult's law. Yes or no? More escaping tendency, that means easy conversion into vapor phase, that means more vapor pressure. Okay, so since more vapor pressure, so in that case I can say this particular thing, PA and PB will be having more vapor pressure than PA0XA or PB0XB. Yes or no? So that's about the positive deviation. About the negative deviation, what happens? Your AB interactions are stronger. When AB interactions have more stronger value, then the bond breaking won't be more easier. You'll have to supply more amount of energy to break this molecule, right? That means the escaping tendency of this A and B types of molecules from the solution will be less. Yes or no? Because of which now we can say PA and PB follows this particular equation, less than PA0XA and less than PB0XB. Or I can say the total vapor pressure is less than PA plus PB. That means escaping tendency less, so the vapor pressure which is created, that will also be less compared to that of the Rawls law. And then that case we will say it obeys, it does not follow Rawls law, and it shows a negative deviation with reference to the Rawls law. Is it okay? After that, the next concept is about the change in enthalpy or change in heat on mixing. In case of positive deviation, the value is found to be positive. Now why the case is so? See what happens in this case. See, AB interactions are weaker, right? That means indirectly we are trying to say that AA interactions and BB interactions in the pure liquids are more stronger. Okay, so if these forces are more strong, then we would be requiring an external energy, an external form of source of heat which can easily break these molecules. Yes or no? So that means we need an external energy to break these attractive forces. So what we say now, the dissolution process is endothermic. What do you mean by endothermic? Endothermic is the process where we require an external energy, an external source of heat. Okay, so on that basis we can say delta H mixing is positive in this particular case. Okay, on the other hand, if we say delta V mixing, let us take the same site. So if we consider now the change in volume on mixing is positive, how can you understand this? See what happens here. There is a decrease in magnitude of the intermolecular forces in the solution, right? We have seen AB interactions are weaker. Since the intermolecular forces are weaker, then that means the molecules are loosely held. They are loosely present with respect to each other, right? Because of that loose holding, there will be an increase in volume on mixing. Getting the concept? As a result, we can say delta V mixing becomes positive. That is, the volume, the overall volume of the solution after mixing of the pure components increases, and so the volume change is positive. Is it clear? Now come on the negative deviation side. So here we are saying about the delta V mixing is equal to negative. So delta V mixing is negative in case of negative deviation, as well as delta H mixing is negative. Then you can support this by the concept that energy is released due to increase in attractive forces. So stronger is the intermolecular attractions. More strongly the molecules interact with each other. In such cases, what happens? The molecules overlap very firmly with each other. Because of this, large amount of energy is released in the system. And since due to this strong interactions, larger amount of energy is released in system, so your delta H mixing is negative. Similarly, what happens? Since the interactions are stronger, because of this, what will happen? Definitely, those will be in strong association with each other. Molecules will be strongly associated with each other, close association in proximity, because of which the volume, the overall volume occupied by that particular solution will decrease than that of the original components. Okay, and so the volume after mixing, the change in volume is observed to be negative. Okay, now let us move towards the graphical representation of this, and let us try to understand it with certain examples. So as you can see on the screen, the first graph represents the positive deviation from the ideal behavior, and the next graph represents the negative deviation from the ideal behavior, supporting the Rawls law. Okay, now in this particular case, let us consider the positive deviation. Let us try to understand it with the help of an example. Take an example of ethyl alcohol and cyclohexane. Okay, now in case of ethyl alcohol, how is ethyl alcohol? It has a highly electronegative element, oxygen, right? So I can just represent in this way, C2H5OH. This is ethyl alcohol. Now due to this oxygen and also hydrogen which is present within this molecule, it undergoes hydrogen bonding. So large number of ethyl molecules are combined with each other with reference to hydrogen bonding. Okay. Now when you add cyclohexane to this, what will happen? Cyclohexane interacts or interrupts the interaction of this ethyl alcohol molecules. That means cyclohexane is going to attack this hydrogen bond of the ethyl alcohol. It will occupy some spaces between this ethyl alcohol molecules. Consequently, hydrogen bonds in the alcohol molecules will break down. Okay, because of which what will happen? Attractive forces in the alcohol molecules will get weakened up, right? And the escaping tendency of this alcohol and cyclohexane molecule from the solution will go on increasing. Okay, and that's what we have seen in case of positive deviations, that due to the newly formed solution or such solutions have the tendency in such a way that the magnitude of the intermolecular forces decreases, their escaping tendency increases. Okay, and as a result they show positive deviation. Yes or no? So on that basis, this is the concept. So the dotted lines which you can observe here, that is with reference to the Rawls law, if they obey the Rawls law. And since they are showing positive deviation, so the solid lines which are observed here, this is for component A, this is for component B, and this is the total vapor pressure of the solution, right? This is the positive deviation with reference to the Rawls law. Similarly, if you take an example for the negative deviation, so take an example for acetone and chloroform. Okay, now initially acetone and chloroform as an independent solvents, they do not have any strong molecular forces, but when they are made to combine with each other to form a solution, the new attractive forces established between them due to intermolecular hydrogen bonding. How this bonding take place? See, this is acetone, CH3, C double bond O, CH3. Okay, and this is your chloroform, CHCl3. Okay, now what happens? This electronegative element oxygen, this hydrogen within the chloroform, right? They will have a strong tendency or strong interaction between them, which will result in a hydrogen bonding, right? Due to this intermolecular hydrogen bonding, what will happen? The attractive forces will become more stronger between the newly formed components within the solution, and so the escaping tendency of each liquid from the solution will decrease. Yes or no? And such case we have seen that it follows the negative deviation with reference to the Rawls law, and that's what we can observe here. Negative deviation, so it has less vapor pressure than the original vapor pressure as observed by the Rawls law. So the solid lines which are specified, this are referent to the negative deviation with respect to the Rawls law. Okay, I hope the concept is clear. In the next video of class 12, I'll be updating you with what are the azeotropic mixtures or what are azeotropes. Okay, till then, thanks for watching.